guys, welcome back to another episode of Guns and Guitars, and as many of you guys know, I am just on a quest to find the best tone on a budget. And on that quest, I've stumbled upon a couple of new pedals that I feel like are going to be a game changer in the cheap mini effects pedal community. So here, I've got two pedals that I got from Donner, the Black Devil and the Greenland. And these pedals are not just an EQ pedal, not just a reverb pedal, and not just an overdrive pedal, but actually a combination of all three together in what Donner is calling an amp simulation pedal. Now, you can get a whole lot of tone out of these things, especially for the money. So I'm gonna run you through the features of these pedals and give you a good sound demo coming up. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars, let's get started. Donner sent me these pedals quite a long time ago to try out and let them know what they think. They actually sent it to me back in like February or March. About the same time they sent me this little mini practice amp, which if you guys recall from that review, it turned out to be a really cool little mini practice amp. So if you're looking for one of those, go ahead and watch that video next. But these, they sent me at the same time. So I've had them for about 6 or 8 months now. And I'll be honest, when I first pulled them out of the box, I was really underwhelmed. I just couldn't figure out how to use them. And so I was disappointed, so I put them back in the box and forgot about them. Well, recently I pulled them back out and I was playing around with them, and it's like a light bulb came on and I figured out how to use them. And it's just, they're not set up super intuitive, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. But it was kind of cool because it felt a little bit like Christmas morning, like I just got 2 brand new pedals that I can play with. So I've been playing with these for a while now, and I've really found that you can get a ton of tone out of them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you first the Greenland. And both these pedals have the exact same layout. They have your EQ on the bottom, so your bass, mid, and treble. And then on the top, you've got your gain, your reverb, and then your overall output level. There's also a button in the middle here that's for your cab simulation. So if you are going into a guitar amp that has a cab connected to it, you would turn that off. But if you're doing what I'm gonna show you, where you just plug it directly in, raw signal with no amp simulation, no amp, no effects whatsoever, then you would turn on that cab simulation, and that's what really transforms this little pedal into what I feel like actually sounds like a real amp. Now, while both these pedals have the exact same layout, they are modeled after different amps. This Greenland here is modeled after a Fender Bassman on the clean channel, and the dirty channel is modeled after a Marshall, which I'm not really sure why they chose 2 separate amps for that. And the Black Devil is just modeled after the Peavey 6505, both the clean and dirty channel. Which, if you guys aren't familiar with that amp, it's a revamp of the 5150 that Eddie Van Halen made so popular. So this is just a really screaming hard rock metal sort of amplifier, and I feel like these pedals really embody the tones of the amps that they are simulating really well. So before I tell you guys why I didn't really like these to begin with, let's go ahead and have a sound demo. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be recording directly into Logic Pro using that Focusrite Scarlett USB interface, as always, except for this time, no EQ, no amp simulation, no effects, nothing post-production. All you're going to be hearing is the raw input signal of my guitar versus the raw input signal going through this pedal. So you guys can see how much tone you can actually get out of one of these. Okay, now obviously I'm not going to show you every single possible tone that you can get out of this pedal, but I'm going to show you real quick how to use it because it's not super intuitive, and that's one of the reasons why I struggled with this pedal when I first got it. So, obviously it's off right now. That's just our regular dry signal. So this turns it onto the clean channel. And the blinking cab simulation thing means that the cab simulation is on. You can turn that off by just clicking it real quick like that. But I think the cab simulation sounds better, so I turn it on. So dry, on, and that's your clean. And then if you want to switch back and forth between your clean and your dirty channel, you just hold it down and you'll see it'll blink really fast. So now you're clean and dirty. So, but also, let's say you want to use this pedal with your existing amp rig, so you don't necessarily need the clean setting because you get a good clean setting from your amp, so you only want the dirty channel. Well, with the dirty channel selected, just hold it down again until it blinks, and now you can switch back and forth between your raw input, so that'd be the signal that goes to your amp, and then that would be your dirty channel. So that's how I would use this pedal, because you can really get a lot of tone out of this thing. It's awesome. It just makes the raw input signal sound like an actual guitar amp. All right, let's hear that Black Devil now. So just like the Greenland pedal, this Black Devil can be used just like a lead pedal, so which is how I want to use it, because you guys know I'm not much of a metal player, but I like to pretend that I am sometimes, and it's really fun, and this way I can do it without investing in a really expensive amp, like a Peavey 6505 or like a Mesa Rectifier or something. So here's the dry signal. So, I just love this freaking pedal. Two things. I can't believe how good this pedal sounds. I can't believe how much tone you can get out of it. Changes this guitar into a completely different guitar. And two, Can't believe this guitar hasn't sold yet. If you guys aren't familiar with this guitar, I do have a video on how you can build one just like it for less than 400 bucks. But this one is for sale on my website. If you're interested, I'll put a link in the description. I'm actually honestly happy that it hasn't sold yet because it's more time that I get to play it. So hurry up and don't buy it so I can keep enjoying it. So obviously I'm really enjoying playing on these pedals now, but that wasn't always the case. When I first unboxed them, I actually didn't care for them at all, but that was because I just didn't know how to use them, and it was my fault. I didn't bother taking the time to read the owner's manual, so I missed out on a golden opportunity. So I'm just going to explain to you a few things that I didn't understand right off the bat. And one, I already showed you that there's two switching options. So there's your typical on and off switching option, and then like I mentioned earlier, you can hold it down and then that switches from your rhythm to your lead setting. So there's two switching options. You decide if you want a rhythm and lead or if you want off and on, right? That was confusing for me because I couldn't figure out how to get to the lead channel. I just thought that the lead channel maybe was the cab simulation button. And so I was doing that and I wasn't getting the results I wanted, and so I was really frustrated. Another thing that's really frustrating is that when you're switching back and forth between your rhythm and your lead channels, these settings don't translate. Now, that's actually a good thing. So you set your EQ, your reverb, and your gain for your rhythm channel, and then when you click it over to the lead channel, all those settings go out the window. I didn't realize that. I was still expecting my EQ to be the same and my gain and my reverb to be the same. But it's actually a good thing because then you dial in how you want it for your lead channel. And then when you switch it back to your rhythm, it goes back to the settings you had for your rhythm channel. Click it over to lead and it clicks over to your lead settings. So it's a really good thing. I just didn't understand it, especially like when I would be playing on my lead channel and I would turn the bass down a little bit because I really want to tighten up the low end so that it cuts through the mix. And then I'd click over to my rhythm channel and all of a sudden the bass would be back again. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I would see, that the bass would be turned down, but then I would have to kind of reactivate that setting if I wanted to change it. So that was something that wasn't really explained well in the documentation, and it took me forever to figure that out on my own. But once I figured it out, it actually opened up a whole new range of possibilities because I could set my perfect rhythm tone and my perfect lead tone and switch back and forth between the two without having to fiddle with the knobs. And it turned out to be actually a really good thing that I really like. Now that you've heard how these pedals sound and you've heard my opinion, I'm interested in your opinion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these pedals. And if you're like me and you're on a quest to find the best tone on a budget, you definitely want to check out this playlist right here of what I feel like are the best value, cheap mini effects pedals available. Likely there's some pedals in there that you've never heard of that will get you the tone that you're looking for significantly less money than the name brand pedals. So be sure to check that out. And until next time, I'm Dan. This is Guns and Guitars. Thanks so much for watching.